Jesus Christ. That's why I didn't want to laugh at Olia and her owl in the morning. Okay. Who could be visiting us here in the middle of nowhere? Does he live in Siberia? We don't know anyone around here. So persistent. I felt extremely unsettled from a silly thought that our morning guests could have come from the woods. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. My mind was urging me to hide. In the closet. Under the table. Behind the curtains where Olia always hides. Tony! Come here! I felt like kettlebells were tied to my feet, but still dragged them towards the hallway. A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. They smelled like frost and worry. My mom always winced and grumbled the most she saw patrol cars, worse than bandits. At the moment, though, she looked somewhat confused. Hello? The senior officer, who wore a grim expression, nodded. A boy had gone missing yesterday. His name is Vova. Look at this, please. Have you seen him? The policeman held out a photograph to me. There was a ginger boy around the age of elementary school, pictured with the wall carpet as the backdrop. He had a striped cat in his hands, wore a wide smile. No, I haven't. Are you sure? Look closely. Where would I see him? I don't know anyone around here. I barely leave the house. Well, maybe you have seen him from the window. That's right, your windows look straight into the forest, don't they? The window. No, I haven't seen anything. I see. He sounded tired, but his eyes, his stare, long and heavy, was full of suspicion. I squirmed outwittingly under the weight of guilt, which is his giant shadow cast over me. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glanced over the hallway, the stairway and the cracks in the ceiling, which I haven't noticed before for some reason. How do you like your new place, by the way? Getting used to it? Bit by bit. It's just our little daughter misses the city a lot. Misses the city, huh? Have the locals been treating you well? Yes, everything's alright. Thank you. The policeman pierced through me one more time with his grey eyes. My head started spinning. Can I help you somehow? I asked that in a shaky voice to look like a polite boy and to end this unpleasant conversation sooner. Now that I think about it, you look just like one of my nephews, little fella. He's a witty boy around your age, wears the same type of goggles. Always engrossed in reading those mystery novels. Told me he wants to enroll in police school when his family visited this summer. Wanted to help other people, just like me, you see. That's nice. I felt uncomfortable, as if a distant relative and not a police officer stood before me. You know what? Little boys like you should stay at home. Steer away from trouble. The times have changed so much. Mom interjected in a cold voice. You don't say? Ah, well then. What grade are you in, Tony boy? 6th. Have you made any friends here so far? Not yet. I'll be going to school for the first time after the break. Then I'll leave you my number, just in case. Call me if you have any new info. The policemen were gone along with the shadows, the smell of cheap cologne, and the photo of a smiling boy. Okay. His face still stood before my eyes. I wondered what it was like for him, being all alone, there. Where? In the forest? For some reason, I thought of the forest swaying in the wind. What did his poor parents feel? And what would my parents do if I would gone missing? Would they cry and trash around hysterically? Or would they accuse each other, like they always do, and forget about me, eventually? Mom, this Fova, did he go missing in our forest? Seems like that, poor child. I looked out the window at the road. The police USE drove off towards the village. The officer's nephew came to my mind when I was splitting off the old paint from the windowsill. I remembered all the teenage mystery novels from Black Kitty series I have read this summer. Your average boys and girls investigated all sorts of mysteries there. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people. And after a set of amazing adventures, bam! Solved any complicated case. They became local celebrities and must have made their parents very proud. I noticed a trail of policemen's footprints that led into the forest. And then it clicked in my head. Why don't I start an investigation of my own? Maybe I'll find that lost boy. And I'll get a reward. Olia would be happy. Not only Olia, Mom and Dad too. Maybe they will even forget about their quarrels for a while. Maybe I'll even save us from the D word. I fantasized about buying Olia a Tamagotchi and getting a cassette tape player and a bunch of tapes for myself. And a whole box of Kinder Surprise. When was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad had lost his job at the time. There's that annoying song about it. I had little to no idea what was the accountant's job like. They count money, I think. Neighbors used to envy us. But nowadays, Mom and Dad barely had money to afford sweets, and Dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Olia. Sometimes I gave her my share too. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was still just a pipe squeak. I couldn't wait to go out, look for clues. I'm going outside! Yeah, right. You want the police to go around with your photograph next? Mom is right. The forest is so thick. What if the boy got snatched up by wild animals or something even worse? Even worse echoed through the hallway. I won't go far. I'll stay away from the forest. Did you hear what I said? Or should I repeat myself? Better go pack your school bag or play with Olia. The sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. I meant that the argument was over and Mom had the last word. Okay, so I can go either of these three places. Open what? I want to go outside, but in a moment. Let's open this first. The dark, stuffy closet. Mom says it smells like mice, but how would she know the smell? She hates when I stick my nose in there. She's afraid I'll cut myself on the freshly sharpened axe. And Olia can't even be lured close to it. She thinks Baba is living there. I tried to help her fight her fears once. I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp, so she would see that there was nothing but cobwebs, dead stools and scratched walls. She still didn't believe me. And I like to hide in the closet and listen to Olia count outside. 1, 2, 3. Better hide from me. And then drag her feet on the creaking floorboards, hoping that she wouldn't need to look for me in the cramped monster's den. Okay, that was it. Let's go to front yard at the last. Kitchen. Mom is there. Can I open this? Grandma kept ice cream for me and Olia there, but now I could see only meat bits for soup and clumped together pelmeni. I agreed to head them already. Okay. Better turn back. The side of an ocean freezer was checkered with my childish drawings. Mom's recipes and all kind of stickers from bubblegum with dinosaurs that Olia likes so much. Among that still life picture hung on a piece of ruled paper with the phone number of the police officer who visited us. First Lieutenant Tikhonov, I read inside my mind, looking at the officer's sprawling handwriting. A scrap of paper was held by two pieces of a broken magnet from some old Soviet toy, and those pieces just barely covered up the numbers as if to taunt me. I leaned towards it to unveil the mystery and take the piece to a safer place where it would wait for its time when I would finally find Vova and be the first to call the police with the happy news. Anton! Mom's reproachful eyes stared at me. What do you need for it? Hands off, you'll lose it. Angering my mom was the last thing I wanted, so I lowered my hand. What's this? The decrepit and stain-covered calendar was once my favorite form of entertainment in Grandma's house. I remember waking up and running to the kitchen so I could tear off yesterday's leaf first thing in the morning, as if the coming day would get lost in taiga forest without my help. One day closer to the New Year's, one day closer to Grandma's funeral. I haven't touched this calendar for years now. Since the time they started writing dark and spooky death chants that only made me gloomy instead of funny proverbs and superstitions to be exact. I grabbed a dusty calendar leaf with caution and it tore off effortlessly. Sadly, the spooky descriptions from my childhood were still there. 7 horses carried the log, which 7 can carry, bring the 8th from a ferry. They will take it away and never come back. This is the fate the lock can expiate. I crumpled the grey leaf and threw it into the waste bin, hoping to get rid of the anxiousness that washed over me. It was spreading inside me like an ink stain on blotting paper. Okay, there was once more, and the radio. Emerkon of Russia has declared the state of emergency due to adverse weather conditions. According to the weather forecast, a cyclone is moving towards the region. Expect heavy snowfall, blizzards, and snow drifts on the road. Keep your eyes open and take care of yourself. Okay. This kid seems to be living in a pretty bad condition. I've gone to the kitchen, I've gone there, so I guess this is the only way that I have left to check. Okay. Anton! I'll whip you if you make a single step out the door. Can I still go there? I need to distract Mom somehow or I'll get scolded and my ass whipped with Dad's leather belt. How the fuck am I supposed to distract Mom? Can I do? Anton, get your ass off the closet immediately. Okay. Same thing. Okay. What? Oh, I can click on the phone! Bruh! Sometimes I would just pick up the phone, listen to the low hum of the zoomer and the distant crackling, imagining the wind howling in the ice-laden chords. Okay. What can I do here? Nothing. Okay, cross. The cross had seen so many people come and go into this house. It was black as if it absorbed all human sin from the long years it was hanging under the ceiling. After Grandma died, Mom was going to take it off and hang a horseshoe in its place as a lucky charm, but she cut herself with the cross's sharp corner and almost fell from the stepladder. Dad called it a sign from above and ordered the cross to be left alone in its rightful place. Sad thing. What can I do? Right. This top. Mom's peg top, a family relic. My mom played with it when she was little, then she gifted it to me. Ollie was next in the succession line. The toy belonged to her now. She stared at the dancing spindle as if it could show her something. a fairy tale, or maybe even our future. Now even my little sister was a bit too old for the old squeaky peg top. Okay. What the fuck am I supposed to do? Okay. Kitchen. Seriously, what am I supposed to do? Bruh, come back. Huh. Now this seems difficult. What is this? Can I go upstairs? Nope. Come on. Can I take this top? There's no other option. Get your hands off the phone. Kitchen. Okay, it was difficult to lie to mom, but there was no other way for me to turn away from the house. Mom! Something's wrong with the TV. The picture is dim and there are stripes all over the screen. Mom's face became visibly distorted. Ah! You're killing me here. So have you had enough of shooting those stupid ducks now? Told you the kinescope will go dim because of your console. Where will we find a TV technician in this hole, huh? Maybe it's just the settings? Please go see for yourself. Strange. It worked fine in the morning. Maybe the snowfall caused it. Mom rubbed her hands clean on her apron and went to Olia's room. Well, that was fairly easy to distract the mom. Let's go to the front yard then. I opened the front gate and went to the field. The howling is really scary. Bro, what the fuck? Carefully, so mom wouldn't see me from the window. When I crossed half of the distance towards the forest, the snow piles became as high as my knees. I remembered my nightly fears. I saw the silhouettes around here. They were jumping around, holding hands. That hypnotic music started playing in my head, all on its own. In the light of day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but the aftertaste was still there. Distant ringing in my ears distorted shadows crawling on the snow alongside me. And a barely audible whisper in my head, blurry and almost kind. Everything was silent. So silent, I felt like the whole world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Olia. The time reached its limit, a one-way trip that ended at the forest's spiny stockade. Sometimes silence was much scarier than any scream. Our parents would scream at each other while arguing, and both me and Olia turned to stone, listening to them. But then always came the ringing silence. Our apartment became numb a couple of days before we departed. Well, there is a typo right here. It should be our. Anyway, it was hard to remember the last time mom and dad joked around, laughing or spending time together. Almost like all of it was in its previous life. When they kissed with Olia present, she always frowned and snorted in a funny way. But one day, it all changed. Something important had left our home, and something scary filled the remaining void. The wind sounds scary, man. The wind is scary. It was as if a fire broke up and our parents were hurriedly packing our belongings, trying to save themselves and us. From who though? From the people with the dead cold eyes, who sometimes visited us in our previous home. The eyes that only saw balls of worms on the background in everything. And somewhere far away, a siren was going off, trying to warn us of the coming menace. Is that the boy? I shuddered, chasing away my delusions, and looked around. There were only me, this wide field, and the wind that was whipping up icy dust and belts of powdered snow. I squinted from the sun and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looked especially dark in the contrast with the blinding whiteness. Knobby tree roots slithered under the snow like fat snakes. Rotten leaves and coniferous needles froze into the eyes. Dry, pricky branches intertwined, bringing up uncomfortable thoughts about fences. What is that? Is that a hand? Were they protecting the forest? Or were they keeping something from breaking out? Some object was hanging from one of the pointy branches. I tried to get closer, drowning in snow. When I almost got to the edge of the forest, I saw a knitted mitten. It looked like a wounded bird among the hungering semi-dark. Should I take it to the police? The senior officer looked gloomy, but he still reminded me of Captain Casanova from my favorite TV show called The Streets of the Broken Lights. He was also always anxious, with a tired look in his eyes, but still brave and strong. Will this mitten help them find the lost boy? Fova! I heard a distant shout. Looked like it came from the river. Vova! As if the trees were calling out to someone. Vova! It sounded closer to me. Someone was standing there behind the trees, hiding. Vova! I knew someone was looking for the lost boy, but still, something was unsettling about that figure. Its stillness, how it was bent unnaturally towards the ground, its blackness. There's no one there, just branches and roots. It was all just my imagination. A bird flapped its wings loudly. That flapping of wings was as scary as somebody running away from near me. Jeez. Oh! A shadow split from the tree and disappeared from my sight. I didn't notice that. I looked away for just a moment, but when I turned my gaze back to the same place, it was gone. So it was my imagination after all. Silence reigned for a painfully long time. My muscles were tightly sprung, my heart was beating somewhere in my throat. Any noise, any little movement, any small whisper from the thicket, and I would sprint. But nothing of that sort happened. I looked at the mitten once more. Well, I came all the way here. There's no point in running away. Take it. I decided to take the lonely mitten from the branch. Vova! A shout rumbled across the field and dissolved into the distance. No echo, no hope for a reply. I stepped towards the bristly trees and tried to claim my find. It didn't budge. I pulled harder, the branch cracked and the mitten tore off, landing in my hand with a squishy sound. All too heavy, wet. I squeezed it without thinking and something dark spilled from it, forming a tiny string between the mitten and the snow. Steam rose from the snow pile. I froze in place, studying my palms in disgust. Red. The sound of cracking branches invaded the silence. I didn't have to think twice before running away. Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking pine branches, closing the distance with giant leaps. Snow was slowing me down. Crazy thoughts flew through my mind. I will get caught. They will get me. I'll get dragged into the thicket. I'll be gone forever. But there was one more voice, probably one of reason. It gave me strength, spurred me on. You can do it! Don't stop! I heard an animal roared behind me. It was so loud my ears went numb. It felt like the sound had come from a pack of hungry beasts rather than a single one. Their nostrils sucked in freezing air. They sensed my fear. Two giant wings flapped above my head. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing. A hoot, a whiz, The roars were coming from all directions now, from the dried up raspberry bush, from twisted pines, from under the windfall. Hurry! Run! Don't look back! I felt like I was in a nightmare. The snow clearing became vicious like quicksand. I was stuck in a place. I pulled my leg from the mushy trap just to be caught in a new one, even deeper than before. I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Was snow ever this sticky? I screamed in horror after realizing this wasn't snow. Someone or something in the snow pile was clutching my pants. I gathered all my strength and rushed forward. The pressure on my leg was gone. My boots slipped out of the hole and my soles were on a hard surface again. I reached a clear path with one jumping from there, ran to my house. Its gloomy facade didn't look threatening now. The house was my line of defense from the shadows that flapped their wings at creatures that were hidden on the snow. I tripped over the doorstep, smashed into the door. In all my hurry, I still managed to notice the claw marks, as if a dog was striking the wood with his paws, demanding to be let in so that it could escape the cold. I hadn't noticed these marks when I was leaving. The heartbeat in my ears was much louder than my surroundings. I couldn't hear whether someone was following me or not. What if they were already in our front yard and Mum had locked the door? Drowning in fear, I pulled on the doorknob and obediently gave way. I rolled into the hallway and shut the door behind me. Porch planks cracked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. My fingers slipped off the lock and I couldn't click it into the place. I gritted my teeth and pulled hard on the iron knob, whipping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Someone was standing on the other side of the pitiful, flimsy barrier that was probably less useful than blankets. Wheezing breath reached into the house and crashed at me in waves. It smelled of pine and sweat. Mom peeked out of the kitchen and chastised me with the same frigid voice she always used when talking to Dad. What exactly didn't you understand when I told you never slam the door? I didn't mean to. I snuck a glance at the door. The smell was gone, and the bread was too. If there was someone in the first place, of course. Here, mere 5 meters away from my mom, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring, and with it the last bit of strength I had left my body too. My legs gave way. I propped myself up against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. My mom's expression had changed immediately. The cold mask of strictness and detachment was gone. Mom looked the same as before all the quarrels. She finally saw my condition, my wet pants plastered with snow. Where have you been? What did I tell you, huh? I told you to stay home. Am I nothing to you? I got afraid she would cry. I reached out to her like when I was very little. I wanted her to cuddle me. But Mom regained her composure fast and put on her usual face. Her eyes shined like steel. Her voice rang out. Your dad can't find his cigarettes. Be honest, did you snatch them? Were you smoking in secret? There was someone chasing me, I thought. I stuttered as soon as I started explaining myself, tears welling up in my eyes. Mom leaned towards me and sniffed my clothes like a beast, searching for the smell of tobacco. Then she squinted her eyes in suspicion and looked into the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant, and she covered her mouth with her hand. Look over there! At the fence! My heart started thumping as I became prey once again, and my pursuers were following me in the field. I could swear I had heard something scratch at the door, just like in my nightmare. Mom beckoned me with her finger, and I gathered my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window, facing my fear. I could barely discern some hairy silhouettes swimming in snow through the icy winter patterns on the glass. Dogs! Just a small pack of strays, with no name and owner, barely reminding of hungry monsters that live on the edge of the forest. Oh boy, we're scared of them. I think they'd rather be scared of you, Anton. They're chasing me like a bunny. And what if they're rabid? The smile had slowly disappeared from my mom's face. Now she looked at the dogs as if it was her first time seeing them. What if they attack Olia? Mom? I wish your dad could just shoot them all. Mom, look! They're alive! Huh? What? Are they your friend or foe after all? Make up your mind. You're not a little kid anymore. Mom sighed in annoyance and I felt so bitter. I bit my lower lip and fixed my gaze on the cobweb written corner. Well, some detective I am. In reality, I wasn't risking my life among monsters, but rather my pants among a pack of stupid strays. And what for? What do I have for this? Mitten. Of course. A dark and sticky mitten that belongs to the lost boy made a squishy sound in my hand. Seems like I was clutching it the whole time. That's my trump card as a detective. I hurried to present this clue to my mom. Mom, look, this is Vova's mitten. That boy the police were asking about in this morning. It's drenched in blood, found it hanging on a tree. I can show where. Let's call the police right away, like the officer had told to us. Mom, look! Ew! A shadow of doubt slowly crept onto Mom's contorted face, as if she was trying to remember something distant, like someone tries to remember the dream, but they just slip away. Stop at this moment. Olia will go insane if she hears you. She already has this trouble sleeping and whines all time, and you choke around like this. At that moment, I realized the mitten was actually wet from snow. There was no blood whatever. I wanted to sink through the floor from embarrassment. Come here, my boy, who cried Wolf. Oh, don't just stand there. Come take your pills. A golden colored pill, reminiscent of a dead wasp, fell into my palm. I already took one during breakfast. Don't talk over me. I told you to stay home, and you? Dad would have given you a good whipping for that. Come on, take it, or you won't be able to sleep at night. And you have school tomorrow. Well guys, the video is getting way too long again, so I'm just gonna split it into another part. Do watch it when it comes out live. And now that you have watched part 2 of the video, be sure to hit the like button if you liked it, subscribe for more awesome content, and yeah, I will see you real soon. See ya.